And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you may be around the world, Ali Madawi in here. I am super excited and happy to have the opportunity to have another installment of TGD Daily, as always, with yours truly and Dr. Stan Harris, aka Dr. Breakthrough. As you know, usually it's the two of us, and we come every single day, Monday through Thursday, 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, 11:30 Central, just to educate, help, and give you as much value as possible so you can have a positive run at your day. But today we have a very, very special guest. And this gentleman is actually from around my corner. I am in New Jersey. He happens to be in Connecticut. And Michael Whitehouse is someone that is known for the connection man. He is the guy who knows the guy. And in 2014, he came to Groton, Connecticut, knowing that he knew no one at all. That was his very first time moving. And a year later, after diving into networking with both feet and hands, he was a major connector in the local community. In 2020, he went global and began connecting entrepreneurs, investors, speakers, and other individuals around the world to other people that they need to know and connect with. So trust me when I tell you, this is the guy you want to have in your corner. And that's why we are so excited to have him today, our special guest speaker, as we're going to talk about the importance of being a connector. So first and foremost, Dr. Breakthrough, how is your day going?
Man, well, I want to say to everybody out there, I'm excited to have Michael on here. The guy's incredible. And I'm glad I know the guy that knows the guy. But TGIT stands for Thank God It's Thursday. So for everybody out there, I'm wishing you a thrilling, tremendous, thankful, triumphant, get this now, transformative, thrilling, thriving, tranquil Thursday on purpose and by design. Y'all going to love the show today. Come
Yes,
on now.
indeed. Yes, indeed. Mr. Whitehouse, first and foremost, welcome to TGD Daily. Welcome to our community. It's really been less than 24 hours since you've actually got to hear about us, but yet you so value in connecting and collaborating together. So, for those who may be living under a rock and have never heard about your greatness, tell us a little bit about your story. Take a minute or two and just kind of educate about your journey and how easy it was, and everyone said yes, and you've never got to know in your life.
No, not exactly. Yep. And also, it's actually been 3 days since we met. I learned all about this in 3 days in Dove, not one.
24 hours since you joined the community. That's right.
I joined on Monday.
Oh, so you are a rock star.
Yeah, I've been here 72 hours. I've been here forever.
You got wisdom already, and you're a veteran.
Yeah. I finally was able to log into the website. I'm doing great. But yeah, no, it has certainly not been easy. In fact, the reason I learned how to network is because I didn't like people saying no to me, and I didn't like getting cold calls. And frankly, when I first started in 2014, moving to Groton here, and it's Groton, not Groton, for anyone who's confused about the pronunciation. Groton.
Don't mind the Jersey guy.
Yeah. I think you said it fine. But a lot of people, I can always tell if someone's not from around here. So like, oh, are you from Groton? No. When I first moved here, I not only didn't know anyone, I didn't have a job. I didn't have a business. I had sort of an idea. I was like, yeah, I'll do like a consulting thing or something. But I knew I needed connections. And so the first thing I did the night before I moved into my apartment, I attended my first networking event and just started meeting people. And because I had nothing to sell and nothing to pitch and nothing to offer, I just looked for ways I could help people because I was trying to build connections. And within a few months, I was getting connected to all kinds of, mayors, CEOs, business owners, influencers, the kind of people everyone wanted to know. And I was just meeting them because I now realize in retrospect, I wasn't doing what most people do. I wasn't coming in being like, let me tell you about my stuff and why my stuff is so awesome. And you should buy my stuff and get in my thing and come to my event. It was just like, hey, I'm this guy. How can I help you? Oh, you want to meet somebody? Oh, I met that person yesterday. Yeah, let me connect you with them. And it was as simple and as complicated as that, of going in with the pure intention of let's make some connections and give and serve. And then, is all trial and error, ignorance on fire, figuring things out and figure out, how to connect, how to serve, how to give. And it was really 2020 was what opened up a whole new big, I was playing in the farm leagues for the first 6 years. I was playing locally. I was I was selling. See, I sold cars. I sold insurance. I sold printing. I was publishing a local community magazine that went to a local community, about 3,000, 4,000 people. So I was playing in the small time. And then in 2020, this thing called Zoom came into my awareness. And all the networking groups I was in went online. And I said, if my networking group just went online, everyone else's networking group just went online. At the time, I was active in BNI. And I said, if my BNI chapter is online, that means everyone else's chapter is online. That means I could visit chapters anywhere. And I started visiting chapters in Washington State and Malaysia and Australia and England and Canada and all kinds of different places, meeting all kinds of people. And once again, ignorance on fire. I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to figure out how to keep selling these magazine ads that I've been selling through in-person networking, because none of the local contractors and realtors were going to virtual networking events. And that's when I discovered the coaching space and the world of, I knew of coaches and some of these self-improvement concepts. I started to really meet a lot of these people and the people who are teaching this stuff and learning about online business and online events and the power of the internet at scale, at maturity. And I was able to just meet this whole nother level of people, because without geography in the way, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you wanted to meet people, you had to at least get in a plane, get a hotel room. Even if someone's like, oh, I'll get you a free ticket. Cool. Well, now I got to buy a plane ticket, a hotel, food. It's still, my free ticket's $1,000. Virtual, I could meet incredible people sitting right here on this chair. $7 chair, $200 computer, $15 camera. Boom. I'm in the internet and meeting everyone. So.
Yeah, no, we love that, and it's incredible. Like, I'm actually grateful that you're sharing this information with us, because I've been preaching this for years, to be quite honest with you, especially for those who say, well, I'm old school, I'm belly to belly. I'm like, you can still maintain the same foundation of old school and belly to belly. We're just doing it now through this plastic thing called computer or a cell phone. Here we are, Connecticut, New Jersey, Texas, but we are still connecting with the masses. So, Doc, any questions that you may have? Because I have a whole lot, but out of respect, I want to make sure that I give you the first hand.
Well, I just want to say that, Michael is just amazing. I went and studied a little bit about what he's doing and so forth. And I think, again, he has such an empathy. A person who's a connector, they're very selfless. And what they do is they find a problem or a solution, and they connect a person or a situation that solves that. Well, I think the reason that the Great Discovery was such a perfect fit for him, because it was a perfect fit for me as a connector, was a lot of times when I connect people, I never got paid. And sometimes my wife would say, is this another missionary endeavor? Now, the Great Discovery allows me to do what I've mastered, connecting people, giving them a solution, right? A coach, a coach that wants to get certified. I give them a place where they can get certified, but I get paid. A person has great content, and they want to be able to get that content out to more people and speak in all these different languages. I could do that, and I get a chance to get paid, right? A person that just wants to be a learner and go beyond personal development to actually retraining their brain to be a success mechanism. Well, I can connect them to that and I get paid. Well, Michael has mastered the art of connection on such a high level that literally, my friend, he sees it so well. And he wrote an email to his following that I read the email and I was like, oh my goodness, I was ready to join the thing that I'm already in. But I want to say to him, though, I appreciate the fact, again, you've been doing this out of heart of love, a heart of compassion, and you're learning how now to be what I call a CLO, Chief Leveraging Officer. And so I want to thank you for all this that you've been doing. And I want us, again, before we finish out, to talk about your December 12th to 14th event and what you do at your events. I think there are people that are listening that deserve to be there, deserve to get those different connections. And that's so my question to you then is, like, what is it about you that said, I just want to be the guy who connects. Like, because most people, they want to be the guy and have everybody point them to them. But you're like, no, I want to just be the guy that helps you get what you want.
So many things to talk about. Okay. First, I want to touch on something Ali talked about, which was, the in-person connections. In a few weeks, I'm driving down to Orlando because I love road trips. I could fly, but I'm going down to Orlando because I met someone online in Vancouver who connected me to someone in Mexico who connected me to someone else in Vancouver to whom I went to a live event in California where I met someone who lives in Connecticut and is now running an event in Florida that I'm going to be going to live. But without the internet steps there, meeting the first guy online in Canada, the next guy online in Mexico, and the next guy online in Canada again, I never would be making that in-person connection. So if you're old school belly to belly, it's just the internet is what facilitates that. And as to what really appealed to you about the Great Discovery, I want to touch on something that the Dr. Breakthrough said is being a connector. People are approaching me all the time. Oh, you should promote this. You should be part of this. This is going to be amazing. And most of it is garbage. And I can usually tell within 5 minutes because they're all about how awesome they are. And it took me a bit to figure out what the full angle of the Great Discovery was, because there's these different aspects. And that's why I wrote the email, because there's different parts that, like, this explains this really well. This explains this really well. But without it all together, you're like, I don't need another coaching course. I don't need another platform. I already got one. When you put it all together, you're like, oh, because this is one of those, often you see in the economy, there's something that should exist but doesn't exist yet. It's a vacuum and someone's going to fill it. And I've seen that with content creation, that you've got these brilliant people out there. They're creating brilliant content around saving money or motivation or manifestation or working out or weightlifting, whatever. But they're not marketing people. They don't know how to build a funnel. They don't know how to build a list. They don't want to. Maybe they'll build a list because that's how you get a following, but they don't want to build funnels and landing pages and sales pages. I know, because that's me. I don't want to do that stuff, and I'm shifting away from it. But I want to create content. I've got stuff to when I talk to people, they're like, oh my God, what you shared with me, I never knew that. That changed my life. And I'm like, I wish I could share this with more people, but I'm not going to do it for free, and I don't know how to get paid for it. So I guess I won't be sharing it. And there's these platforms out there. There's Udemy and whatever, but that's basically a holding container. It's like a shelf. You put stuff on it. Nobody's going to buy it because there's nothing to sell it. There's nothing to drive traffic to it. It just holds it for you. I could, put it on YouTube in an unlisted video, do the same thing as that. So when I saw the Great Discovery, I'd like, this brings that all together. This is someplace where those people who have something to share, they don't have to build the whole thing. All they have to do is create good content, put it up, point people towards it. That gets them into the ecosystem to discover other people's content. And then other people that their compatriots brought in will discover their content. And it creates that learning growth ecosystem that so many have tried to do. But I think having the Great Discovery, the Six Sigma anchor to tie it together, so it's not just because I've had people, I'm going to build this platform with all this content. Cool. Why are people going to join you? What do you got? So I think having the gravitas of Six Sigma behind it is part of, like, that gravity is what's bringing things together. Like how planets form. There's the gravity, and you first have a ball of dirt, and then it clumps together into rocks, and then you get a core, and then the core ignites, and that's what I'm really seeing. So in terms of what got me into wanting to be a connector, I'm going to say it was insecurity. I could say it was a desire to serve, and I wanted to give more. It was insecurity. I would approach situations, and I'd go into a room, and everyone's making more money than me. Everyone has more experience than me. Everyone has a fancier title than me. So what do I have? I'm just this guy who just moved into town, doesn't even know where his apartment is yet. But if I'm introducing someone else, it doesn't matter who I am, right? If I come to you and I say, hey, do you want to meet I can connect you with the chairman of the Mohegan Gaming Commission that runs the big casino near us. You're not going to be like, who are you? You're going to say, oh, how can I meet him? You don't care who I am. My value is raised to the level of the network I'm bringing. And I quickly realized that. And so I started making those connections, and then eventually pretty quickly realized in the aggregate, my value is going up simply by those connections. Even if I know nothing, can do nothing, have nothing, I have the network behind me. And then a crazy thing happens when you surround yourself with amazing, awesome people. They start teaching you things. So I started knowing things. And that's what happened 2020, 2021. I use my podcast that way, the Guy Who Knows Guy podcast. I'd be meeting these amazing people, 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure businesses, wildly successful, changing the world, millions of followers. And I would invite them to my podcast and basically say, my first 2 questions in season 3 of my podcast were, what makes you awesome and how did you do it? So I just say, what makes you awesome? Which that question catches everyone's joy. They're like, awesome? I don't know if I'm awesome. But and then they'd be like, well, I do have 1 million followers and I built a $27 million business. So I guess that's pretty good. And then I say, how do you do it? And they tell me their stories. And I start to hear the patterns of the stories in between. I'm not a great researcher, information organizer, so that I've never written a book on it or anything, because that's like research and focus. But I did it in a podcast, so it's all there. It's all out there. I can go back and listen. You can go listen. And over the course of 50 interviews, I'm like, I know a bunch of stuff. And now I'm at the point where someone will ask me, hey, I'm at this point in my business, and I'm not sure how to, I'm thinking about building an email list, but I don't know how. And my mouth will open and words will come out. It almost feels like, in the Bible, they talk about someone prophesying and like the Spirit is upon them and it's just coming forth. Like I'll hear myself saying things that are detailed. Well, this is really the best platform, but if you have this style, this platform is better, and this one's a little more expensive, and this person can help you with this, and then here's a technique, and this technique used to work 10 years ago, but doesn't work anymore. And all this is coming out, and I'm like, who is this guy? 3 years ago, I didn't know what a launch was. I didn't know what a giveaway was. And now I'm like, people are coming to me and saying, what does this mean? So the kind of coming together, the apotheosis of all this is this event, JV Connect, that you asked about. I know a lot of people, and I was thinking, what's the best way I can serve and, as a business, because I've been trying to make classes and courses and training programs, and a few people join, but that requires all this stuff. And there's 1 million people teaching stuff out there. But I look around and there's all these one-off networking events. There's all these, 1-hour networking events or networking groups you have to join for months and months and months to really build up the value. But all the multi-day events I saw were actually sales events. They were actually enrollment events. And if you know that, and you're in a certain place, the kind of people we want at these kind of events, you're like, oh, I'm not going to go to that enrollment event. I don't need to sit there and listen to a pitch for 2 hours. And the marketing for it is all directed at their ideal clients, who tend to be the newbies. They tend to be people who are just getting started. They don't have a lot of money. They don't have a lot of connections. In other words, great prospects for the host, not great networking partners, not people who want to spend 3 days getting to know. And I've made some good connections to those events. I'm not saying they're not worth going to. I'm not saying they're not great, but there's a ceiling because they're enrollment events first. They got to make their money. That's the business model. So I said, I want to run an event that the only thing we're selling, the only primary offer, is buy a ticket to the next event. So yes, we have some sponsors are gonna come in and gonna make some offers, and I'm not saying there will be no offers. Like it's not a nonprofit event. We're not a charity, but no pitch is gonna be more than 5 minutes. So it's gonna be like commercial break. Hey, here's something cool. You should check this out. It's gonna be great. You should look at it. In fact, I believe that the Great Discovery is gonna be one of our sponsors sharing this. Good things that you want to learn about, but then right back to the networking. We're not taking an hour for a long discussion of why you should buy our high ticket $10,000 program. Nothing wrong with that in its place, but it doesn't work well in a networking event because it disrupts the flow. So this event is pure connections. It is all about, is built around structured breakouts. And so in each breakout, there's some activity, some focus designed to maximize you getting to know the people in that room and getting to understand these are the people I want. There's going to be 18 people in the room, and 25 minutes later, you're going to know which of those people you want to reach out to and say, hey, we should get on a call, and which you should be like, thanks, great to meet you. Because not all 18 of them are going to be people you want to meet, but out of the 100, 200 people we have in attendance, possibly more, you're going to go through and you're going to come out with 10, 20, 30, 40 good connections, people worth meeting, people you can learn from, partner with, people who might want to hire you, people who could be friends, collaborators, accountability buddies, whatever it might be. You can basically do 3 months worth of networking in 2 days. And I say 2 days because it says December 12th to 14th. 12th and 13th are the open days. You can go to jvconnect.com. register and come to that. The 14th is invitation only because that is for businesses that are established. So for most people listening who are not in that mid 6-figure, high 6-figure, 7-figure range, it's a 2-day event. And in 2 days, you can meet all the people you need to fill your calendar with great connections for January, February, and March. And then in March, come back again. We do it again. Fill your calendar again. So that's what we're doing in December.
That's awesome. And for the, because one thing that I appreciated that you kind of hit on, you talked about your insecurities, which, by the way, I so appreciate it because most people talk about their strengths and their superpowers. And, look at me, the ego talk, right? You mentioned that it was insecurities. Can you walk us through that transition from insecurity to having enough confidence to do what you're doing right now? Because there are a lot of people who are watching this right now and they're like, yeah, I don't think I can do what he does. I don't think I can speak like he does. I don't think I have the confidence or the charisma that he has right now. So what would you say, what was that catalyst that turned things around for you?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, I don't have to say, look at me because, I'm gorgeous. People want to look at me. So it just happens. I have to say, stop looking at me so much. But I'm kidding. I'm not. I'm actually gorgeous. But in terms of going from insecure to secure, some of it's just practice. I mean, this is my 150th interview on someone else's show. So I've been out a long time. One trick I teach people, if you want to get more comfortable on camera, just a tactical trick, is get on camera a lot. Every one of us, you don't need a film studio anymore. Every one of us got one of these things. You pull this thing out, you hit record, you talk to it. And if you're afraid, you're like, oh, I stutter, I whatever, hit record, talk to it, watch it back, delete it. No one else has to see it. But if you do that every day for 100 days, you will be better on camera, guaranteed. There's really hard to do anything every day for 100 days and not get better at it. And if you're not good enough after 100, do it for 100 more. How long does it take? 2 minutes to record a video, 2 more minutes to watch it, and 2 seconds to delete it. And eventually you'll be like, I'm going to post this one. This one was pretty good. I'm going to put this on Facebook. So, but that's more of a tactical thing. That's not so much the underlying.
No, I appreciate that. And I know those are some nuggets that can definitely help some individuals out there. Yep. I know for myself, and, I came from Morocco, Northwest Africa, 2 decades ago. I said, me no English. And one of the things when I kind of got into the business space, because my accent would come out every now and then. And if you really, really hang out with me with a cocktail, it'll come out real quick. I'm like that Jamaican who goes from like, how are you doing today to come on, man, immediately. But I will tell you this. I usually would focus on the very select few that genuinely would be kind to smile back and interact and nod their heads or show me love in comments and, like ignore what's not working, focus on what is. And, that also is part of being a connector. I know we're kind of getting closer to the end of the segment itself, but Doc, I know that we're going to be on tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, obviously, tgdmeets.com. We've had a major launch yesterday for our brand new website. Our artificial intelligence system is officially live. For those of you who are content creators and talk about being a connector, we've launched a program that allows you to upload your courses. There's obviously a process to it. Once your courses are uploaded, they can be translated as of right now up to 17 different languages while maintaining your real voice, and your lips are moving to the native language. So the international reach is out of this world. Plus, you decide the price. You monetize the course in our platform. You keep your intellectual property. No one owns any of your stuff. And then, of course, I get to collaborate with you along with Dr. Breakthrough by interviewing you, by featuring you, by showcasing you. And we're also planning on having some press releases with our top performing course content creators, which is absolutely excited. Doc, any other remarks before I want to give Mr. Whitehouse the last word since he's our guest of honor, but any remarks that you have, Doc, before we pass it on to
I love what he said, and I've been teaching this for years. People always want to know about the success in home-based business. And by the way, you probably ought to write this down, and that is your ability to network will eventually determine your net worth. So watch this. So I've taught people for years this. You don't see, everybody wants to know the details. You don't have to be the deal. See, they want to know all the answers so they can be. No, you don't have to be the deal to be successful in business. You just got to learn to point people to the deal. And that's all Michael's done. And after you point people to the deal long enough, they start associating you with the deal. Oh, you're the guy that knows the guy. And then after a while, they start thinking you are the deal. Oh, you're the guy. And then you have to do like me and Michael and spend the rest of your life trying to explain to people, no, I'm not the guy, right? So I'm the guy that knows the guy, but no, I'm not the guy. And so he just gave an excellent thing of that. So I hope y'all understand this, my friend. You might be insecure now. You might be down and out. You might be a nobody, quote unquote. But if you just learn to just point people to that's why I love what we're doing to Great Discovery. If you can point people, my friend, after a while, they start associating you with Six Sigma. They start associating you with this powerful concept. And then all of a sudden they start thinking you are the powerful thing. So folks, you're at the right place at the right time. Michael has given you some powerful nuggets in a very short period of time. Great value, Michael. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And Michael, we definitely would love for you to have that final remarks for anybody, any final thoughts as we are about to call it a day.
Sure. Yes. So to answer a little bit more of your question, I mean, the big thing that gave me the confidence was just hanging out with the right people and making those connections and having the good people say, as Dr. Breakthrough was saying, say, wow, you're so great. You're such a great connector. Because for the longest time, like, the guy behind me, who are you talking to? Me? And all I was doing was making connections. It wasn't me. It was them. And then as I started doing it, I started learning. I started getting more into things. But the caveat with that is you need to be careful because a lot of people, they want to jump to the end. They want to be like, oh, I want to be the big deal. And someone will come to them with some impressive, shiny thing and be like, oh, yeah, we got this amazing new thing. Our company is doing billions of dollars and blah, 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 blah. And they'll get sucked into some company that's just not aligned with them. Sometimes it's a legitimate company that's not aligned. Sometimes it's not a very legitimate company. And they'll get associated with that because you'll get associated. You smell like whatever you're carrying, whether it's roses or something else. So I've always been very careful who I associate with. And a lot of people will try to get me to say, hey, join us and promote this. And I've been very leery about hitching up with any company. I'll promote like someone's course or someone's event or whatever, but to actually say, hey, here's a company, I'm part of it, that I'm really, really careful about. And really cautious about that because my reputation is everything, is the most valuable thing I have. And I don't care how much money you're telling me I can make. If it risks my reputation, I'm not doing it. And in fact, I'll be honest, first time I told my community about the Great Discovery, the way I said it was, I just saw this thing. I jumped in. It looks really good to me. Looks good. I haven't fully vetted it. I haven't fully researched it, but my instinct tells me it's good. So if you want to jump in with my instincts, go for it. But, full disclosure, I'm not fully in. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still learning it. As I've gotten to know it better, as I got to know more people in it, I'm more confident to say, these are good people. This seems like good structure. This seems solid. But I'm still always have that slight separation of like, I'm not a leader of the company. I'm in the company. So, but it seems worthwhile. And that's one thing I love about Great Discovery too. It's not like LuLaRoe, like buy $5,000 worth of tights to get started or, fill your garage with merchandise. It's a very
Doc, you didn't tell them about the tights division we have?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's an accessible barrier to entry. And so I could tell people like, hey, I jumped in. It's a reasonable, a reasonable level of investment, not too ridiculous, not too low, reasonable. I'm giving it a shot. If you want to give it a shot with me, you can. Yeah. And so that's a great way to be associated with someone, get people to come along with you. But you always want to be careful because that first thing you come across is going to sound amazing until you hear that tune, until you hear different people singing the same song to the same tune in different voices. And you're like, oh, wow, that's the same thing I heard from those tights guys. Huh, crazy. Yeah. So, and that's why it's important to know people you can trust. People like me or Dr. Breakthrough or any kind of connector. That's why those connectors are important. The ones who have integrity, the ones who won't give up their integrity or reputation for any amount of money, because you can trust them. I'm not saying if you don't know me, trust me. I have integrity. You probably know someone with integrity. Go to those people and say, and actually, it was when I talked to someone else, another person of integrity, I said, hey, what do you know about the Great Discovery guy? He's like, oh, yeah, I know Tim. I've known him for a while. He's a good guy. He does good things. And I'm like, okay, now I feel better. Third party confirmation. Because the integrity and the reputation is the most important thing. And you don't want to be carrying around something that ain't roses.
That makes total sense. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it live on TGD Live, wherever you may be watching, because we are on YouTube, we are on LinkedIn, we are on multiple groups and pages, we are on X, and Mr. Whitehouse is a guy who knows a guy. You've heard it here first. Make sure you connect with The Connector and Dr. Stan Harris. As always, I appreciate you being here with us. We'll be seeing you tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live on tgdmeet.com. So you too can learn how you can leverage the platform. Have a blessed day, everybody.